Hello, everyone, and welcome to another horror review. Right, I was looking for something a wee bit off the wall. I've done a lot of sort of standard stuff, things people know about. So I went hoking, and I think I found an accidental comedy. You kind of know when everything's like, "Whoa, this movie's extreme. Oh, it's too much for you. Warning, polite warning, super warning." Even before the movie starts, and you're like, "Okay, right, you know this is going to be daft as hell." Evening, Chris, and welcome. I am grand, bloody tired, had a long day, didn't get back to late, but thankfully got back in time to watch us and jump online. Um, yeah, right. So this is a German exploitation film. It's done in 1987, I think. 86 or 87. No. Yeah, around about that time anyway. 87, 88. Um, where do we begin? This is just right. It's not even low budget. It's no budget. It's like film with a camcorder type daftness. Let's let it scene. Like the camera work here is just like it's. I don't think it's meant to be shaky, and it just is shaky. And the jump cuts, like there's YouTubers do better jump cuts than this. I'll talk about a scene in a minute. But we start off. We've got this couple. They're driving somewhere. They're in their country. Um, we see her get out of the car, and this is how it's set the scene for what type of movie this is. She's going for a pee in the woods, basically. So of course we got her dropping the knickers and the whole. You don't see anything out, but it's the whole suggestion of her peeing, and it's just done so slowly and dramatically. Like, yeah, this is going to be daft as fuck, and it is. And God, right. If somebody comes and beeps a horn at them, like they're in the middle of nowhere, and he's just pulled off the side, and somehow they managed to get into like a traffic jam in a country lane where the other person could have drove past. There's yeah, I don't know. Actually, I'm gonna look them up. Horde, but I don't make it seriously to pronounce that for me. Right, so he's 1962. What's he done? Um, so basically, he's been making movies so far up until 2020. So he's still active. His first movie 1981. So yeah, he's had a what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he's had about 7 or 8 movies before this. So we can't even use the excuse of this is his first movie. Guy's just something else. So oh, by the way, it's in German with subtitles. So if that's not your thing, just to warn you, I don't. I prefer reading subtitles than watching badly dubbed movies, except for kung fu movies. I'll defend myself. I'll defend the right of every kung fu movie to be badly dubbed because they're awesome, especially Hong Kong kung fu because I grew up in that stuff. But any other one, nah, give me subtitles any day because at least you get the feeling of the actor and the sort of intention and the physicality. Except in this movie because it doesn't matter. It's freaking. Is it awful? No, I wouldn't say it's awful. It's not like it's daft. It's one of those. Oh my god, what am I watching? This is dumb. And this is where I'm saying it's an unintentional comedy because I think he was meant to. It might have been shocking back in the day when it first came out, but God, it's not aged well whatsoever. And yeah, the acting is something else in this. And like I said, the facial effects, but we'll get that because right, these two drive up, and this is how you know as well it's going to be a daft movie. They're talking in the car, still looking at the road, and then a photograph of a barrier. Now, I'm not talking It's not like it's a barrier across the train tracks or anything. It's just a barrier. You know the ones that you get in like shopping center car parks. It's one of those, like wooden barrier or a metal, metal pole one, right? So you know how flimsy the end things are. Go on YouTube, look at like mopeds, skateboarders crashing through these things, right? You know that they're even the steel ones aren't that sturdy. And this is I bet you the German car industry had something to say to this guy. Because crash, it literally crashed into it. It's flick of a photograph, flick of the car, flick of the photograph, loads of sound effects. And then it cuts to the next morning because this happens at nighttime. Cuts the next morning, and I mean, there's body parts everywhere. The car's an absolute write off. Like the wife has gone through the windscreen, but has landed behind. There's no way. Um, I don't understand if they went through a barrier and a train hit them. You know, the thing being shredded up, but not just hitting a steel barrier, which, by the way, don't normally come right up to the windscreen the way. And this is even before crumple zones. So if you think, I can't remember what they were driving, but I think it was like a Volvo or something. And I had a Volvo once, and God, then those things would just, what was that? Poof, as you bump into a tank and the tank falls off the road. You know what I mean? They didn't build these cars to mess with. This is back in the day of, like I said, pure steel cars that just destroy everything in their path, apart from steel barriers. So you kind of see where this is going. Now, it then cuts. Right. This guy did no research whatsoever. He's trying to make, I think he's trying to make his protagonist to be forensic cleaners. And if you're familiar with it, in fact, anyone that's in the true crime and stuff, look up forensic cleaners if you haven't already. You know what I'm talking about. These are the ones that go after crime scenes and, clean everything up. And it's well paid, but not a pleasant job. So they're the ones that go into like murder houses and stuff and all that kind of stuff. Um, yeah, they just call these guys, and it's a bloody brown transit van with stickers on it. Joe's cleaning services, but Joe's and whatever it is in German. Yeah, there's a movie that did it so much better called Feel, and it's about a group of forensic cleaners, and they encounter like a nymph in the woods. It's not horror. Um, is that German or Swiss? I think I was Swedish. It's that was in subtitle too. That was a good one. But that showed forensic cleaners. But this is like, okay, right lads, come pick all that stuff up. And right. They're just saying the wife is they don't even have body bags. Like the black bin liners. That's how they start picking up black bin liners. So not even like pretend to have body bags. I'm sure they could have um got something that looked like a body bag from somewhere. Even a suit bag would have looked better. Like a flipping suit bag, at least had the zip up the middle. They could have done that, but no. But the wife they're made to look as if she's been cut in half. And you can see where she's actually buried into the ground. And when they're trying to move her, she's actually moving about under the ground, right? And then when they're putting her in the bag, she actually moves her arms like this. And then you see the guy moving around to do to allow the camera to do the cutscene. So he's struggling and she's helping him put her so-called into the bag so he can turn around so they can switch to the dummy. Goes into the bag. Oh god, it was I lost it at that point. I'm like, oh, I am in for a treat with this movie. you literally see her fucking moving her arms. Brilliant. But anyway, Robert, he's like the new guy. Nobody likes him in the team. And what his hobby is nicking body parts. So every time they go, he's nicking stuff because like there's obviously no scene of crimes officers in this movie's universe. Things don't get catalogued; they just get shoved in the bin liners, and you can take it to the morgue or not. You know what I mean? It's not as if you have to do an autopsy to see if there's foul play. You know, all right, they're making a mess on the side of the road. Ah, well, I suppose we'll just shove it in the bin liner. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's where it's just comedy. Yeah. So it turns out Robert, him and his wife Betty have a fetish about uh, dead parts, right? And she's all proud of him when he brings home his latest trophy and they store it in formaldehyde jars, which is going to be relevant later on. And their apartment is a shithole. Here's how bad it is. They don't even have like a bed. It's strewn together. It's like barbed wire on either side, and it's bones. It's supposed to be artistic, and then they've got two single mattresses. And you know me, I'm a thing about mattresses and not having mattress covers and stuff. Like it's just two mattresses, single mattresses plunked together to make it look like a double bed. Um, just she doesn't work, he does, sort of thing. And yeah, that's those two. And they're just saying he's watching a documentary while she's in the bath, and there's blood dripping in the bath, and where the blood comes from, don't know. And she's doing all the, like getting excited by it. So it's also badly, daftly done. But they hit the jackpot when his team goes out and they find a body in the lake, in the river, right? And I mean, it's been there for a while. No police divers, because I'm pretty sure police divers were around in 1987. And yeah, no, just find it. And then these lads come and they don't even use gloves. Like, they just haul right. The same the first time, they just shove stuff in the bags with their bare hands and stuff. And you're like, really? Really? No one gets ill in this place? And they do have gloves because you see them later on. And they could use marigolds even. Will they do a wee bit better? But just these suits. But yeah, this corpse is dragged out. I mean, it's rotten. What does Robert decide to do? And that's the whole crux of the story. He's like, I know, my wife and I need to spice up our sex life, so let's get a corpse involved. And that's that. He brings it home, still in the bag. Now, once again, yeah, things don't get catalogued. You don't have to take it to the morgue. He can just... And they're driving in the back of the van, and they're like, yeah, you can carry on with that. So the fact that he was the only one in the van left with the body, and he was expected to go to the morgue, and obviously nobody's called ahead to tell the morgue, oh, by the way, we're bringing a body in. They expect, once again, was there foul play? Apparently not in this universe. You don't do that sort of thing. You just chuck them in the bin bags and dispose of them how you like. No missing persons, no friends and family to, try to identify to claim the body. Nah, none of that. Nah, just call these guys and they just pick it up and whatever happens, happens. If you get most of the body, if you get most of the body back to the morgue, then that's a bonus, I suppose. Anyway, this is probably the sick bit, that freaks everyone out. I was freaking eating my dinner too, because I back and I made myself some pizza and wedges, and I'm sitting, it's on the floor in the bag, and they start opening the bag and it's all covered in slime and they're rubbing their hands in slime and over each other and stuff. And you're kind of like, yeah, that can't end well. You ever seen a You ever had a pork chop in the fridge, maybe forgot about it, and it goes a bit like that? That's you're not touching that. That's that's mesmer. That's giving you rumbly tumbly for a wee while. But yeah, these two decide to have a sex scene with the corpse, and it's all done with like bad camera stuff. So it's not like there's nothing like graphic in it. A wee bit of nudity, but it's not that. But the bit that really got me is they decide he needs a wang. So what'll it do? He's like, got the hacksaw out. Here's a freaking bedpost. Dunk, thunk, right? And this is a flipping wooden nail post, and she sticks a rubber on it. It's like that's going to take the rough edges off. I'm just like, love, you got nothing. You're going to hospital, but apparently not. Yeah, you'll pork chops are good, especially when you season them up. I need to get some. I haven't got that in a while. I actually am not a fan of steak. I don't mind steak. I can have a steak, but I don't get excited by it. To me, there's a lot of arson about, and by the time you put it in the frying pan and stuff, and just do it enough, it's I just don't know. Never never got it. I think the thing that puts me off as well, like Chinese restaurants and buffets when they offer beef courses, it's always like the stringiest, chewiest beef ever. Um, that just puts me right off. So I'm more likely to get a pork chop because at least when you season a pork chop, it absorbs. Pork's very much like chicken. You season it properly, it actually absorbs the flavor right the way through the meat. Where I find steak, when you like try and season it and stuff, never really works that well. Uh, Same with lamb. The only thing, I don't mind minted lamb and stuff, but I think red meat, when you try and season it or flavor it, doesn't really lend to that. No, but at the same time, making a roast, like a Sunday roast with red meat's better. Like I know people do it with chicken and stuff, but that's different as well. I like roasted, but yeah, good old pork chops. But you know yourself when that pork chop goes a bit the ropey side, you've forgotten about it. It's not you're not going to be licking it and putting your hands on it. And this is effectively what the scene plays out with what do you call a freaking bedpost. Now I'm sitting wondering, going, now 1987. I'm pretty sure sex toys were around. I'm pretty sure, maybe not so much the rampant rabbits and what the varieties are these days, but I'm pretty sure there were sex toys. Why didn't they use one of them? We find out later, but we'll get to that. So they do this kind of sex scene, and apparently for the movie, like use real pig's eyeballs and stuff, and he's like in the slime. Now, if this was real, those two would be straight off the bed, straight into the bathroom for a week. I mean, your insides would run the hell right out. You'd be running. Till there's nothing left. You'd be deflated. If you did this for apps, if this was legit happening, your flipping insides would be like, meh. I see this as like a cross between the movie as a whole, between Bad Taste and the Human Centipede 2. So they're trying to make this seriousness of, if you've seen that movie, I forget the guy with the glasses, the main character who's just out there. One of the best. I think he's one of the best human sort of disturbed personalities out there. You know what I mean? He takes sort of Norman Bates to the next level. That level of shock and depravity. So they're trying to mix. Obviously, this is way before these movies come out, but it's that sort of stuff. But the acting and the effects are Bad Taste, and it's just bloody daft, and you just can't. I wonder. It'd be interesting if anybody. Here's one for the comments, right? If anybody remembers seeing it at the time, did you react back? You know, were you like, oh, that's too much, or did you look at it going, you know, oh god, why did I click that? Why did I click that? Uh Tell you what, your puns are more offensive in this movie. Should be a warning. Warning! I'll do it every stream now. Warning! Chris and Steve and others with bad puns may be in the stream. Caution advised. Oh god. Right. So after this, they're all happy, Larry, lovely couple. Here's the bit I can't get. How they store the corpse. They have it nailed to the wall and it's all dripping, and they put a couple of bowls, like dishes, like saucers. Yeah, not even cereal. You can understand a couple of cereal, but a couple of saucers to catch the ooze and stuff. And the thing's supposed to be dripping, but there's one scene where it's showing it dripping. You can see somebody's throwing the water. It's fucking stupid. Like the editing, this is the worst editing. I mean, even compared to my editing, this is bad. I have a funny feeling this was made in like 3 days or something. Anyway, Robert's a bit of a useless idiot. Anyway, he's never on time for work. He creeps his workmates out, and these are people that go and clean up bodies for a living. But the supervisor already been into the manager going, "Me sack this guy," and I know what that feels like because I've a couple lenses like this guy's crap. Get rid of him. No, sorry, you just have to put up with it. Okay, guess I'm looking for our job. Frustrating thing ever. But the thing that got him was he left his overalls in the locker stinking over the weekend, and that's, you know. Now this is the overalls from picking up the body. So imagine what the body smells like in the apartment plus all the other shit they have. And this is relevant because that's it. Comes in Monday. God, that is a good question. There's a bit in this movie I thought was a bit too far to try, but thankfully because of the bad editing, it's not super graphic. But then they've taken a reel from a documentary and inserted in this. Don't know, nothing. I've seen. See, the thing is, I never got into torture porn. I never liked that. So those sort of movies never. I never watched most of them. And I think there's a few of those that were the kind of might have went a bit too far. I think the difference is the point is the reaction. But if it's done on a story basis that you're showing depravity and it's got a purpose behind it, then it makes sense. When it's shock's done for shock's sake, like the Hostel, let's give that example. So sort of the final scene of the Hostel where one of them is getting the girl looks herself in the mirror after what's happened to her and does what she does. To me, that was just done for shock's sake, and it didn't add anything. So to me, isn't going too far. No. Where they're doing that just to do it. That's where I switch off. I'm like, nah, they're just doing it for shocks. Sorry, there's one movie. God, I can't remember. It was a flipping gangster movie. And it was done in the 1950s in black and white. Let's see if I can. Right, there's this particular scene. The mobsters are coming into this old man, right, into his house. And he has a fishbowl. And he's 2 goldfish and a turtle in the middle of it. And they intimidate him to smash the the bowl on the ground, and you see the fish actually flopping and down, and the turtle, and the guy stamps on it. Now, this is, like I said, this is before it brought in animal rights. So, effectively, and if that was just one take, still it was one take too many. It wasn't fake, it was actually done. And to me, that's too far. If you're actually killing animals to make a movie, screw you. That's where it's gone too far. If you actually have to, and that's why they brought in rules and stuff, because there were movies that got were about that no compunction. And the thing is, it's a slippery slope, isn't it? And it's weird the horror fans, talk about morality and where it goes, but this is escapism. The whole point of the horror genre is escapism and to look through the lens. As I said, it's the roller coaster ride. It's to safely explore the dark urges of humanity and the darkness out there without being that person. Because those that don't explore it are the ones that will actually act on it. It's the same as people that don't have a healthy sexuality, put it like this. They are the ones that will get frustrated, and they're the ones that will act out in their impulses, and then that's where the danger is of they'll do it wrong, as in they'll do harm to someone else. So if you don't exercise your imagination healthily and in a robust, no, that's not the word I'm looking for. God, I'm trying to put this because I'm not a doctor or anything, so they'll probably give you a 20-hour lecture on it. But there's a healthy way to exercise your imagination. There's a healthy way to enjoy this sort of content and not because the catharsis is there, because you're actually doing it. For example, those that enjoy roller coasters and stuff, they don't feel the need to go and jump off bridges or to race down the motorway at 90 miles an hour. If that makes sense. Look at the difference between a rally driver and a joyrider. So a rally driver will has a co-pilot, has a team, there's safety gear, but they're still hurtling around a track at 120 plus miles an hour. And there's every danger still, with all the precautions being taken, that they could just wipe out. Look at motorcycle racers at the Isle of Man TT, the most dangerous racing circuit in the world. Those guys are tuned in 100% professionals. At the same time, it's the thrill of the ride. Now, compare those guys who know that they face death, but they take every precaution not to, and their team and everything, they're all working together towards a goal to safely go around it, but still get it's still exhilarating. It's exhilarating to watch, exhilarating to take part in. Look at some dipstick that nicks a car and goes hurtling around the streets, thinking they're Jack the Whack with 4 people in the back and they're doing donuts and all that stupid shit. They're the ones that, because they didn't find their outlet, they're doing it the wrong way, and they're likely to cause harm. Like, they're going to wipe out a family of kids. They're going to kill themselves. They're destroying somebody's property already that somebody's worked hard for. Look at the dipshits that go around the streets and the bikes, like 14-year-olds and mopeds just whizzing around the place to get a thrill because I haven't found a healthy outlet for that exhilaration. That's stupid and dangerous. And that's an example if you don't find the outlet. So maybe not a fair example, but looks at rock climbers compared to parkour. Which I know, once again, but look at the ones that you've got like at every level, you've got professionals, you've got, amateurs, but rock climbers, safety gears to train, they take a mentor, it's a team effort. They'll never start off free climbing first of all. Parkour will jump around the place and, have accidents. Now, that's the ones that don't go to the, now there's gyms and all built for it and people train in a safe environment first. But when there wasn't that outlet, that's what people did, and they wiped themselves out. Same as skateboarders, if you don't have an healthy outlet to exercise all your senses, all your feelings, then you're going down a dark road. And this movie's a good example. Well, it's not a good example, but it's an example. It's badly done, but these people obviously can't express themselves sexually, so they're looking for the next thing. There's something wrong with their marriage, so they need to bring corpses, and if that makes sense. They're not happy because straight away after back to the movie again, he basically gets sacked on the Monday for leaving his overalls in. He goes back to the apartment and she flips his lid at him, and then she just mentions that she hates his guts and she's not going to live like they live like absolute tramps. But she was perfectly happy with that when he had a job. Now he doesn't. She's not happy with it, and then basically tells him, "I was only waiting around till I found someone rich. And I was going to leave you anyways, but I'm going to do it." And then she leaves him and takes the corpse and leaves him a note. "Yeah, you're shite. I hate you. And I've taken our friend." So there you go. Now he comes back, and this is the bit where this is where just done for shock's sake. He comes back with a cat. Now, sort of the description says it's their cat, but it's almost like he bought a cat or something. But he comes back with a basket, and there's a cat on it. And then he goes through this, finds it out, and then he lets the cat out, and then he's stroking the cat. And you can just tell how music they're winding up, winding up. But the bit that gets me is he takes out one of the hearts out of the jar and feeds it to the cat, which formaldehyde. Anyone's been to chemistry in school, that stuff's not nice, but it's the stupidity of the director not doing basic research. What's formaldehyde? What's that smell like? Yeah, cat's not going to eat. So it's nothing connects here. And then he does the jump cut where he's shoving the cat in the plastic bag and bashing around the place just to do it. And I'm like, nah, not getting it. Stupid. Then we'll have him in the bath with the cat up in the, a fake cat, obviously dripping blood in the thing, and him taking the guts out and rubbing around himself. And you're like, nah, this is stupid. And then this goes on. This is where the movie kind of meanders on a bit towards the end, and you're like, really? And even the description of I copied the description from IMDb, like I do with all the ones, that it starts off as a bit of fun, and then he thinks his wife's. That's played out in about half a second. And that's like a quarter into the movie, so we've still got 3/4 of the movie to go, and this has already happened. And then it just becomes filler. For half the movie, just becomes filler. Him like doing trippy, 70s type scenes and his dreams and stuff. And after that, seeing it just goes a bit, what the hell's going on here? Then it sort of gets back on track, and this is where he goes and looks busy for working girls. Yeah, that old cliche. So he finds one. Oh, we're going to do it in the cemetery. Yeah, but he can't do it with a living one, so he kills her, and then he can redo it when she's dead. And then the next scene is that. I mean, I've already kind of checked out the movie at this point, but the groundskeeper of the cemetery comes and looks in shock. Do you know what that's actually? I'm thinking about it now. Do you know a silent movie? The cinematography in this is like a silent movie, but there's acting and dialogue, and it's 1987, so it shouldn't be, but it's accidentally done in the style of that. Which, if they'd maybe done it like that, it probably would have worked better, because at least they were doing it in the style instead of trying to make a serious movie. And that's not the problem, is they tried to make a serious movie and they just did it so badly that you can't but laugh at it. But yeah, the groundskeeper sees the corpse of the prostitute and him lying beside it, like because after he did his business, he passes out, apparently. I forgot. I was kind of zoning out at this point anyway, because you knew what was going to happen anyway. I think he just fell asleep, or did he have another trippy dream? I don't know. I really don't care. But the groundskeeper's just like, oh, and he has a shovel in his hand, so he throws the shovel down so that Robert can pick it up and cut his head off with it. And I mean, it's bad. You know, like I said, it's bad taste, bad of that sort of thing. Ah, dear God. Then it does some more filler. Oh, he goes to, oh, yes, sorry, the funniest bit, I never forgot. Is this before? This is before. Right, sorry, I skipped a bit. Like I said, I zoned out a bit. So he goes to the cinema, and they're watching a B horror movie. And this is where... So they managed to make the acting in the B horror movie they're watching worse than the acting in the main movie. If that's possible. This is like another level of just they're watching a slasher movie, and I mean, it's funny. It's just so cringingly bad. It's freaking hilarious. And there's a scene where the killer in that movie is like, oh, he's threatening her, and then he actually puts the switchblade between her teeth, and she's like clunk, and holds on to it for him while he's, and then politely gives it back to him so he can finish the job. Like I said, the movies make that bit worse than so. This movie's taking itself seriously. That's a bit, the movie's taking itself seriously because they're like going, ha, here's a funny B movie, and it has to look worse than our movie, so we're subconsciously know what's going on. Yeah, and then that scene happens, then stuff happens, and then we finally get back to final scene where he's like, I can't get it up anymore, but I can do it with dead things. What if I was dead? So he lies on top of the bed, stabs himself, and then there's an actual sex toy stuck between his legs. And the thing is, because we've seen him in the bath scene, so we know it's not that thing anyway, and not that size, but yeah, he's got that phallus like there, and that's why they didn't use the phallus sex toy for the corpse, because they were keeping it for this scene. You're just like, you fucking idiots. You absolute morons. And this guy's done 8 movies. So I could understand if it was like first time or something I would do for a laugh, taking the piss, but not a genuine serious movie, which this is what they're trying to do. And then he stabbed himself and is shooting up in the air and the blood and just daft. And then get to the final scene where he's actually buried. And then we see dun 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 a shovel with a nice pair of high heels, obviously getting ready to dig him up, so it must be Nancy, his wife. Cut the end. And there you go. That was the thing that I watched. Yeah, I would only put this on if there was a bunch of people around and we're just going to have a freaking laugh at it. There is a Nekromantic 2. I found it. I'll put it in my watch list just in case. But here's the deal. I need 10 people to watch this movie and put comments in before I'd even consider watching the sequel. Because that's the price. That's the price of making me go through a sequel, because it's going to be even worse. Yeah, 10 different people have to have watched this movie and told me in the comments what to think about it before I'll watch the sequel, because, yeah, I'm not doing that without some help. I think this movie was trying to take itself seriously. That's the problem. It was actually trying to do it. And that's where you're just like, yeah, you failed. So there you go. There's the thing I did for you guys. See what I put myself through. It wasn't insultingly bad. It was just bad, as in just no. This was thrown together. This was just here's a daft idea. Yeah, we could do this in the weekend. Crack on. I could see why people might have been freaked out by this in the 80s. I can kind of see it. But yeah, it didn't age well. There you go. It's worth. If you've seen my review of Deathbed, the bed that eats, that was done better than this. Just to put it in perspective, and that was low budget, cheesy movie. And it was really, there was a lot of dry humor in that. This isn't that. So there's a comparison. There you go. All right, folks. Hope you enjoyed that one, and we're nearly another month on. So, when we're doing talks about, I think it's this Sunday. No, not this Sunday. Next Sunday. All right, still another week to go. Right. Yeah. So, obviously, we'll be doing a wrap up at the end of the month of stuff, and movies. That's what I wanted to say, because we're going to be reviewing one of 7th Street Productions, Calvin's movies. Jesus Was Evil, looks daft and fun. Calvin McCarthy needs to remake this. He needs to get the rights, and he needs to remake this movie. My challenge to you, sir, is do this modern day and see what you can do with it. That would be absolutely bonkers. I don't know what the ins and outs of rights and propriety and all that kind of stuff, but if you can, there's a project for you. I'm actually condoning a remake. I think this is just done that badly that it needs a remake. Yeah. And you're the man to do it, Calvin. I have every faith in you that you'll sprinkle your little sparkly magic. There we go. Right, folks. Hope you enjoy that. Keep up to date with the channel. Do the typey clicky things. Until next time, keep it creepy. Keep it horrific.